All right. Good evening, East Hampton Town Board. We're live on Channel 22. We're streaming to YouTube. The phone lines are open for public comment. You may begin.
Thank you, LTV. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the East Hampton Town Board meeting of Thursday, December 4th, 2025. Carol, if you could please read the roll call.
Councilmember Flight?
Present.
Councilmember Lease?
Present.
Councilmember Rogers?
Present.
Councilmember Calder Piedmont?
Present.
Supervisor Burke Gonzalez?
Present. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and for the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So tonight we have 3 public hearings that will be followed by resolutions. This is a little backwards, Carol, the agenda. We have 3 public hearings that will be followed by public portion, and then we have resolutions. But before we start, we are going to hear from Hugh King.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. The Declaration of Independence was adopted during the American Revolution. So that means, what did the American Revolution have to do with Gardiner's Island? What did the American Revolution have to do with Colonel Abraham Gardner, the Montaukets, Reverend Samuel Bew, Captain Ezekiel Mulford, John Dayton? What did the American Revolution have to do with the trustees? What did it have to do with the townhouse? What did it have to do with Samson Occam, Return Jonathan Meigs, Ballad of Pudding Hill, the Culloden, First House, Second House, Third House, William J. Rysam? What did the American Revolution have to do with Clinton Academy, the Duncan Patton, the town trustees, Lafayette, Home Sweet Home? Well, to find the answers to all those interesting questions, you can tune into future town board meetings when the East Hampton Town Crier will be here to dispense the information coming from these questions. Okay, starting with the second meeting in December will be our first 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence fact. Okay, I don't want to leave on this 2 notes. My 3 favorite words: Cranberry Hole Bridge. Okay, and you remember there are 4 different kinds of Lesters. They're the Devon Lesters, they're the Panago Lesters, they're the Posey Lesters, and they're the Round Swamp Lesters. See you next week, 2 weeks.
Thank you, Hugh. Okay, so now, Carol, if you could please read the first meeting notice.
The public hearings will be held live and in person by the town board and will be available electronically by video and teleconferencing, and will be televised on the local TV channel 22 and available for live stream on the LTV website. The public shall be permitted to appear in person, but may also provide comments on the matter by being heard by calling 351-888-6331. Any person or party wishing to be heard with respect to the foregoing may do so in person, by agent, by attorney, or by written comment addressed to the East Hampton Town Clerk, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton. Comments may also be submitted to the town clerk by email to cbrennan@ehamptonny.gov. All comments must be received by the town clerk by the date and time of the public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing at Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, on Thursday, December 4th at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as this matter may be heard, to consider comments of all persons on the proposed Wainscott Green Management Plan update, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 300-197-140.1. The full text of the management plan is available for inspection at the office of the Town Clerk, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, during regular business hours of 9 to 4, Monday through Friday, exclusive of holidays.
Thank you, Carol. Scott, did you want to give us an introduction on this public hearing?
Sure. Quickly. So the Wainscott Green Management Plan update was actually formally adopted, the original management plan, via Resolution 2019-1105. The original plan allows for some flexibility. However, no plan can contemplate all things, changes, or proposals. Hampton's Pride made a presentation to the town board at a work session and post-adoption of this management plan. So it proposed a number of things that were not contemplated. They made another presentation this past Tuesday, which was very comprehensive, but still beyond the scope of the plan. So as per our work session discussion on November 12th, on Wednesday, we are proposing an updated plan to include one additional line of text under management goals and issues. I could just scroll down there really quick. Under long-term plans, and that line reads, in consideration of a presentation by Hampton's Pride, allow for the installation of a historical marker reminiscent of the former swamp dance floor and associated memorial sculptures and our access path, subject to town board approval and associated town permits. The change will actually give the town board some more flexibility to determine if it wishes to allow the installation of some, all, or none of those proposed changes. While this change is substantive, it still vests all decisions and approvals through the town board, then any necessary permitting that if the board allows any one of those proposals to proceed. The balance of the management plan stays as it was originally drafted and adopted. And if the board accepts the addition of that particular sentence, I'll submit a resolution to that effect.
Great, thank you. So would anyone like to address the board on this public hearing? Matthew, is there anyone on the line that wants to speak to this public hearing?
We have no callers on the line at this time.
Motion to close. Madam, did you wish to speak?
It would be on the Wayne Scott management plan. Okay,
I motion to close.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Carol, if you could please read the second meeting notice.
Notice is hereby given that the town board of the town of East Hampton hold at Town Hall, 159 Panago Road in East Hampton on Thursday, December 4th at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as this matter may be heard for the purpose of considering a proposed contract with the Village of Sag Harbor for fire protection and emergency ambulance service to be furnished by the village on behalf of the fire protection district known as the East Hampton Fire Protection District for the calendar year 2026 upon the following general terms. The fire department shall answer and attend all calls in said fire district and shall furnish firefighting vehicles and equipment and firefighting personnel. The fire department shall furnish emergency ambulance service, including vehicles and equipment and ambulance personnel to the district. For the fire protection services during the 12-month period 2026, Sag Harbor Village shall be paid on or before February 1st, 2026, a total sum of $35,114.46. And for ambulance protection services during the 12-month period of 2026, Sag Harbor Village shall be paid on or before February 1, 2026, $23,743.30. And from such funds, the fire department shall be paid directly the total sum of $6,392.10 on or before February 1, 2026. And the ambulance corps shall be paid directly the sum of $2,801.04 on or before February 1, 2026. The town's total cost for the fire protection and ambulance services under the contract is $58,857.76.
Thank you, Carol. Would anyone like to address the board on this public hearing? Matthew, is there anyone on the line?
We have one caller on the line. I'll put him through. All right, caller, you're unmuted.
Thank you. Good evening. This is David Buddha from the Springs. With regard to, by the way, Matthew, I'm calling both with regard to this public hearing, the next one, and then finally later for public comment. With regard to this public hearing, I just want to make note of the fact that the cost that to be incurred by the town to provide fire and ambulance services to the residents of this fire protection district is fairly reasonable and modest as compared to some of the other costs of providing fire and ambulance services to other parts of the town. My only other comment, and this one is really something that surprises me, the name of this fire protection district is the East Hampton Road Fire Protection District. The resolution neglects to use the word road in the title and in the first resolved paragraph of the body of the resolution. That really shouldn't happen. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Is there anyone else on the line, Matthew?
No, Mr. Buddha is the only caller at this time.
Motion to close?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Carol, if you could please read the third meeting notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold at Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, on Thursday, December 4th, at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as this matter may be heard for the purpose of considering a proposed contract with the Amagansett Fire District for fire protection and emergency ambulance service to be furnished by the Amagansett Fire District to the Town of East Hampton for the Promised Land Fire Protection District for the calendar year 2020-26 upon the following general terms. The Amagansett Fire District shall answer and attend all calls in said Promised Land Fire Protection District for fire protection and emergency service in case of accidents, calamities, or other emergencies, and general ambulance service to the Promised Fire Protection District. For such services during the 12-month period, the Amagansett Fire District shall be paid the sum of $576,489.23 for 2026, payable on or before March 1, 2026.
Thank you, Carol. Would anyone like to address the board on this matter? Matthew, if you could please put Mr. Buddha through.
No problem. David, you are unmuted.
Thank you very much. With regard to the town contract with the Amagansett Fire Department to provide services for the Promised Land Fire Protection District, I'd like to make a couple of comments. First of all, we have town contracts with several entities in order to provide fire protection services to those areas that are not within a fire district, a fire department district. And in the case of Amagansett and also Montauk, it really seems to be unnecessarily complicated and duplicitous to have a arrangement where every year the town has to enter into a contract with the Amagansett Fire Department Fire District, and with the Montauk Fire District to provide services to those adjacent nearby areas that are outside of the formal boundaries of the districts. I would really like to understand why the town cannot consider doing whatever is necessary to merge these two fire protection districts into the boundaries of the existing fire districts in Amagansett and Montauk. It would simplify matters for taxpayers. It would simplify matters for the budgeting process. It would eliminate some of the annual process that the town has to go through in order to generate the contracts, approve them, etc. But more importantly, those residents property owners who live in a fire protection district, because they're not technically within the fire district, they don't vote, they don't participate, they don't have any direct control over or direct democratic process to participate in the affairs of those two fire districts, Amagansett and Montauk. And also, it seems that at times there can be a great disparity in the tax rates imposed, not so much in Amagansett with regard to this fire protection district, but in Montauk there seems to be a great disparity of the tax rates that are imposed upon those people who will live in the adjacent areas that are officially in the fire protection area and not within the fire district. So, with regard to this substantial expense, and obviously providing fire and ambulance is an expensive and important, essential part of the work of the town's government and volunteers that participate in the fire districts, it really should be considered to simplify, keep it simple, they say, and consider whether it be feasible to merge this fire protection district promised land into and have the Amagansett Fire District accept that as part of its territory and integrate all the services and all of the legalities into one fire district. And the same thing would be suggested for the Montauk situation as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
Would anyone else like to address the board on this?
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So now we're up to public portion, and I'm going to go to those that signed up. Michelle, you want to come to the podium now and just state your name for the record for the clerk, please?
Hi, Michelle Clark.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm here due to purchase a property on 3 Mile Harbor and was made aware of the fact that there is a, I guess, variance that's in front of you all to change the property and put in 79 units. As a home buyer, I'm concerned, and I've spoken with some folks in town. My concern is the noise, the traffic, the congestion, and also as a residential homeowner, having, potentially 79 units. Also, if we could have if they're going to have a public hearing, if that comes about, we would like ample notice as homeowners, that border this potential residence that's going to be developed. We'd like ample time and know who the developers are. There's only one person that's disclosed right now, and we would like that publicly disclosed as well. And just know, how much are they going to sell each one for? And it's for profit. It's not a non-for-profit. So I just would like to know all the parameters around all of that, which is our concern, because it's, with the amount of people on 6 acres, could I take my property, a half acre, and then, propose a variance and then sell it for profit? It just doesn't make sense. So it's very concerning to all the neighbors that are here. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Kirby?
That's very nice.
Welcome, Kirby.
I'm Kirby Mark Antonio, and I am the one of the 4 principals of 152 3 Mile Harbor Road. And I'm basically here to try to set the record straight on this project. When we first considered the property, my attorney called the town to advise them we were thinking of an AHO there. The funny thing is, so were they. They thought it was perfect. But because it was too expensive at $5.6 million, they don't allow to pay more than appraised value. So unfortunately, the town itself had to pass. They wished us luck, told us to move forward. So here we are, 8 months later, tens of thousands of dollars spent, drawings done, engineering and traffic studies finished, and we're told without a public hearing, which was not been had yet, that basically we should stop the process. Why is it that we should not go forward to a public forum? Why should the hundreds of people in this town who are affected by this positively not be heard? Needless to say, I believe that if we're going to provide as many houses as we are for workforce, that they need to have their rights spoken for. But let's leave that aside for a second. Let's talk about the project itself. After Tuesday's hearing, I had quite a few thoughts myself about changes that I think should be made. Instead of 79 units, we go for 60. That's the code. That'll bring our density from 12 units per acre down to 9, 30% below the actual threshold. Because we're decreasing the project, we feel confident then that we can use only 3 Mile Harbor Road for access rather than West Drive. As a matter of fact, what we're going to do is we're going to pivot the project away from West Drive so that it becomes more centralized and accessed onto 3 Mile Harbor Road. Now, because we have a chance to do that, we really only need to use 5 acres of space. So we have 6.5. An acre and a half will lie on the easterly side where West Drive is not being used. We think it would be a wonderful idea if we could find a young, up-and-coming entrepreneurial farmer who'd like to have a half an acre or an acre of land. They could have a low-impact project there. Our only request is that they donate $1,000 to the Springs Food Pantry. As for the units themselves, they were proposed for 100% workforce. That's changed too. We're going to sell 20% of the project for truly affordable housing as per the town's regulations. 12 2- and 3-bedroom townhouses that will sell for an average of $500,000 apiece. We suggest the town selects the owners from their list of over 170 locals who have been waiting for help since 2017. Now, because it costs $700,000 a unit to build, we'll lose almost $2.5 million. That's fine. Everybody has to put some skin in this game to get housing actually built, not talked about. As for the rest, we'll break even on the workforce 2 bedrooms, and we'll make some money on the 3s. Given a $30 million investment and 4 years in counting, I think that's more than fair. As to how this project will be managed, we will form a management company to oversee it. The nuts and the bolts of that are not rocket science. The restrictions on units owned by local businesses who employ local workers at an affordable rate will all be enforced as stipulated by the Affording Housing Easement, the state-approved offering plan, and the CNRs of the project. Needless to say, there will be some legal issues that have to be solved, but I believe that in the last 4 years, we've gone over many of these, and there are ways in which we can ensure for everyone that this project remains perpetually affordable and has access to all of the residents of East Hampton, unlike some other publicly funded projects that have to share their units with other municipalities. But the real question is, why here? Why 3 Mile Harbor? Why this land? Well, the fact is there are only 9 vacant parcels in the entire town of East Hampton that are eligible for an AHO. 3 of them are the gun club, the airport, and the sand pit. I don't know what's going to happen with those 3, but it's going to be a long time before anything happens there. The point of the matter is that if you want affordable housing, it's got to go somewhere. And this site is suited, and we can work with you to make sure that it works within the neighborhood, that it works within the law, and that it works within the spirit of what we're trying to do. So overall, I believe that we've acknowledged the issues, we've responded to the neighborhood's fear, and improved the product. I look forward to a full discussion under those terms in the coming weeks at a public hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kirby. Would anyone else like to address the board? Matthew, I believe Mr. Buddha wanted to speak again.
That's
during public
correct.
comment.
I'll unmute him now.
Good evening again, David Buddha. This is public comment. I'd like to comment and make some remarks regarding your biweekly warrant resolution. You are proposing to approve claims of $30 million, which obviously is a lot of money. I am astonished that the town has not been able to figure out a process whereby you make public in advance of the meeting the list, what you would call the vendor invoice list from the Munis system that lists the payments that are to be approved. School boards do it. I know the Springs School Board does it every time they have a meeting and they're going to approve payments. The list of the payments to be made is part of the agenda as pursuant to the open meetings law. Now, I assume that that large amount of money involves one or more CPF purchases. I would guess that it might involve 41 and 47 Cove Hollow Farm Road. Perhaps it's other properties. I don't know. The public should know how you're spending the town's money in advance and not have to do what I had to do in the past when my interest was piqued by a large amount of money to be expended, and that is to use the FOIL process, Freedom of Information Law, to request a copy of the Munis vendor invoice list, which the town was very expedient in providing to me. The town residents should not have to ask after the fact to know how the town's money is being spent. It's a necessary part of your regular process, and I've lived in this town now almost 25 years, and the town has just never done that, and I can't understand why, and I strongly suggest that you consider in the upcoming year making amendments to your procedure so that the biweekly list of payments to being approved is made public so that the recipients of payments, the nature of the payments, the amounts of the payments are all disclosed in real time as you make those payments approval process. And that's all I have to say. So thank you and have a good rest of the meeting.
Thank you, David. Matthew, is there anyone else on the line?
We have no other callers on the line.
And that warrant is $30 million because of the $20 million for those two parcels on Cove Hollow Farm. One more time in the room. Anybody else want to address the board? Okay. We're going to move on to resolutions. Tom, please start us off.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. I'll start with Resolution 2025-1580. This is approvals and warrants, warrant number 12A, in the amount of $30,042,736.78 and $48,793.23, respectively.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2025-1511. This is this is to 2025-1581 is to amend 2025-1511. This is to correct the amount of the increased budget modification SRO 42140 solid waste fees from $250,000 to $275,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 2025-1582 is a notice to bidders for EH 25057. This is for food service and kitchenware items for December 2025. The bid is available December 11th, 2025 and due back January 8th, 2026. For further information, you can contact the purchasing department, purchasing at ehamptonny.gov or by calling 631-324-4183.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
2025-1583 is to reject bid EH 25045 for the sanitation scale improvements.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 2025-1584 is an extend contract EH 24045 for the transportation disposal of non-recyclable solid waste, used tires, construction and demolition debris for Winter Brothers Hauling of Long Island.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2025-1585 is a budget modification for Fort Hill Cemetery to increase the revenue budget line for sales for Fort Hill Cemetery in the amount of $2,000 and increase expenditure budget line maintenance in the amount of $2,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 2025-1586 is to adopt a local law amending Chapter 141-9D21 for tents. The town board has determined during the last amendment to this code by Resolution 2021-554, adopting local law 2021, an inadvertent deletion was made. The intent of that code was to update the way tent permit fees were set, but a section of unrelated code was deleted. When the new code was printed in e-codes, the following language was inadvertently omitted, as used in this 141-9D21. A term tent means a structure, enclosure, or shelter constructed of fabric or particle material with or without sidewalls on all or part of the perimeter, supported by any manner except air or the contents that it protects. And B, the term temporary tents mean tents which are to be erected for less than a 2-week period. Tents to be erected for more than a 2-week period shall require a building permit.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. It's my pleasure to offer Resolution 2025-1570. This is authorized, I would like to untable Resolution 2025-1570.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
It's my privilege to offer Resolution 2025-1570. This is authorized access and temporary use for water quality monitoring to the Center for Clean Water Technology to collect water samples at town-owned property at Suffolk County Tax Map 300-200-2-2966 Waynescott Main Street.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 1587, schedule public hearing. For a notice of public hearing for the Hog Creek South End Preserve Management Plan, the public hearing will be held on December 18th, 2025, at 6 p.m.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 1588 is the schedule of public hearing for
the CPF acquisition and amend the 2025 Management and Stewardship Plan for 171 Cranberry Hole Road. Proponent owner is Lucy B. Sprunger Cookson and Allison Moran and Carl Bulk III. Tax map 300-152-1-12. It's 11.43 acres of land. Proposed purchase price is $4.75 million. The public hearing also will be held on December 18, 2025 at 6 p.m.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 1589 is the appoint full-time groundskeeper one to the Parks Department, Juan Herrera Martinez, an hourly rate of $24.03. Grade 14 starting step for a 40-hour work week effective December 8th, 2025.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 1590 is appoint part-time environmental aide to the Aquaculture Department, Heidi Bucking, hourly rate of $25.05, be paid bi-weekly effective January 5th, 2026.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 1591 is a list appointment from provisional to fleet service manager for Conrad Fisher. This will be in the Highway Department, a position of fleet service manager. No change in hourly rate or budget account retroactive to November 28th, 2025.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 1592 is to terminate seasonal employees in the Park Department end of season for November 2025. Names, positions, termination dates listed below.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 1593 is to approve a donation of a vehicle to the South Fork Sea Farmers, where there's a surplus vehicle that the town has. Its estimated value is at $15,112. The town hereby deems the vehicle surplus and further approves this donation and all title documentation necessary to facilitate the donation.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
1594 is accept donations for the Montauk Playhouse and budget modification, where the town is, East Hampton is aware that the Montauk Playhouse Community Center Foundation would like to make a donation and purchase equipment for the Playhouse in this amount. The town graciously accepts the donation in this amount. We're going to increase the revenue account for gifts and donations in the amount of $1,259.88 and increase the expenditure code for office equipment in the same amount.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 1595 is authorized supervisor to execute an intermunicipal agreement for the establishment of Office of Regional Community Preservation Fund Council and the Peconic Bay Regional Advisory Committee and retain the legal services of Mary Wilson Esquire as the Community Preservation Fund Council.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 1596 is to retain historical preservationists. Did I miss one?
No, you're good.
Oh, sorry, you moved
Sorry.
to me.
Sorry.
No worries. 2025-1596 is to retain historic preservation consultant Stewart Preservation Services LLC for the 1904 Osborne House to help restore and maintain historical properties. They had an outside professional services proposal dated November 24th, 2025, upwards of $4,800 to review and advise engineering specs, plans and specs, recommended source materials on site.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
1597 is a notice of bidders for EH 25058. This is for the annual generator maintenance contract. The bid is available December 11th, 2025. The bid is due back January 8th, 2026. Please contact the purchasing department for further questions.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
2025-1598 is to authorize the CPF project plan addition for 227 Gerard Drive, whereas Town Board held a public hearing on November 20th, 2025. Property reportedly owned by Lucille Macia and Lucille Macia Forenza. Tax map 300-42-2-6 is 0.26 acres of land. Yes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 1599 is authorized acquisition and amend the 2025 management and stewardship plan for 225 and 227 Gerard Drive. It's purported owners of the state of George Macia. The location is 225, 227 Gerard Drive Springs. It is 0.47 acres of vacant and developed land. Public hearing was held on
November 20.
Thank you. November 20th, and the proposed purchase price is $1.5 million.
Second. All in favor?
Roll call on this one, if you may.
Yeah.
Nay.
Aye.
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 2025-1600 is a budget modification for buildings and grounds. This is a decreasing lines for water expense in the amount of $2,000, decreasing the amount of health insurance in the amount of $80,000, and increasing the budget line for water expense in 2,000 and light and power for the amount of $80,000.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I have Resolution 1601. This is to schedule a public hearing and a notice of public hearing for a grant of a scenic and conservation easement. The public hearing will be held on Thursday, December 18th, 2025 at 6 p.m. concerning the following grant of a scenic and conservation easement. The grantor is Stonefire Sunset LLC, Christopher Poley, managing member. The location is 54 Firestone Road, Montauk. The reviewing agency is the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Resolution 1602 is a list appointment from provisional to principal office assistant for Julie Akala. Resolved that Julie Akala is appointed to the position of principal office assistant with the Architectural Review Board at no change in hourly rate or budget account, effective retroactive to November 3rd, 2025.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Resolution 1603 is provisional appointment to principal office assistant for Carmen Chacho. Resolved that Carmen Chacho is hereby appointed to the position of principal office assistant in the ordinance department with no change in hourly rate or budget account, retroactive to November 2nd, 2025.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Resolution 1604 is to approve a 2025 expenditure for the Litter Action Committee from a portion of their 2025 budget to be used towards expenses for the outdoor banner at the East Hampton Recycling Center and 2 banners. Additional expenses were for the East Hampton Sportsman Alliance award flyers, a frame for the award, and a plexiglass stand that is a replacement for one that is used at various pickups. The town board approves expenses totaling $228 from the Litter Action Committee to be reimbursed to Christine Ganich.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 1605, this is for 2026 deer hunting lottery. 2026 deer hunting season opens at sunrise January 4th, 2026, and runs through sunset January 31st, 2026. The town issues permits by lottery, and applications for the lottery will be available in the town clerk's office beginning December 11th, 2025, and must be returned to the town clerk no later than 3 p.m. December 22nd, 2025, to be eligible for the lottery drawings.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2025-1606 is to award the 2025 department head bonuses. The performance of 3 department heads was determined to be of such exceptional service to the town that it was worthy of recognition and a bonus pursuant to the program. So a one-time bonus of $3,000 shall be provided to John Rooney, Superintendent of Recreation, Stephen O'Brien, Town Maintenance Supervisor, and Tina Lagaran, Town Planning Director.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
1607 is a list appointment and promotion to senior building inspector for Dawn Green at an annual salary of $92,978.50 for a 40-hour work week effective December 8th.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 1608 is the fingerprint reimbursement for Carlos Altagracia in the East Hampton Town Police Department in the amount of $89.25.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1609 is a reimbursement for services rendered to Nancy Ward, a certified instructor for child passenger safety seat installations. It was a recertification of officers, and the voucher amount is $400.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1610 is refunds for overpayments of medical payments, and the folks and the amount is listed below.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1611 is to reimburse Alexandria Vecchio for court filing fees for Birch Tree Partners LLC versus the Town of East Hampton in the amount of $46.35.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1612 is a notice to bidders. It's bid EH 25-056, replacement of reels, runway identification lights at the East Hampton Town Airport. The bid is available December 11th and due back January 8th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1613 is to increase the cap for David Grill Esquire and Rivkin Radler for construction matters for 2025, constituting a total of $35,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1614 is to increase the cap for the law office of Vincent Toomey for PBA matters for 2025, constituting a total of $125,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1615 is a budget modification in buildings and grounds related to the reimbursement to Change Hampton for annual insurance costs. We're decreasing full-time salaries in the amount of $3,400 and increasing subcontractor costs in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1616 is a budget modification for the supervisor's office for the purchase of office equipment. We're decreasing MTA tax due and New York State retirement and increasing office expense in the amount of $1,124.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1617 is a budget modification for the airport for anticipated year-end outside professional costs to be offset by revenue from the sale of aviation fuel in the amount of $75,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have Resolution ID 33812. This is to approve a change order for the sanitation mold remediation EH 25034. Whereas the town consultant engineer LK McLean Associates has recommended additional funds to cover the costs of deteriorated toilet partitions in both restrooms, an additional cost of $7,091.80. The remaining contract allowance of $5,000 will be used towards the cost, leaving a balance of $2,091.80 to a total contract cost of $60,791.80.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 1619 is a budget modification in the Buildings and Grounds Department for the solar PPA, decreasing MTA tax in the amount of $4,000 and increasing the line for the solar PPA in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have Resolution 1620. This is to accept a bid number EH 25-048 Justice Court Interior Painting to Robel Painters Company, Inc., whereas the town board solicited bids for Justice Court Interior Painting Project, and the bid of Robel Painters Co., Inc. was the lowest bid received, meeting the bid specifications for Justice Court Interior Painting Project. Resolved that the bid of Robel Painters Company, Inc. is accepted for a total cost of $87,360.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 1621, this is to appoint part-time office assistant in the tax receiver's office, Grace Phillips, in the amount of $25.05 per hour, effective December 8th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 1622, this is to appoint part-time office assistant in the tax receiver's office for Isabel Peters at a rate of $25.05 per hour, effective December 8th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 1623, this is to accept bid EH 25-047 for Cantwell Court subdivision lot clearing project. And the bid is awarded to Ken Russell, Inc. in the amount of $149,370.
Second.
All
Oops,
in
sorry.
favor?
Aye.
Have it.
Resolution 1624, this is to accept bid number EH 25-050 Maidstone Playground installation awarded to Ken Russo, Inc. in the amount of $89,675.25.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 1625 is to increase the hours of part-time Assistant Town Attorney Trevor Darrell, as weekly hours will be increased from 10 hours to up to 20 hours in accordance with the existing schedule.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, that's everything we have as far as resolutions are concerned. Does anyone have anything they need to bring up?
You know,
So I have a motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Matthew.
You got it. Have a good evening.
You too.